Hey guys, Kongai here, and welcome to a video on the channel. It's been a while, but we are back. 2022. I thought we'd start things off by counting 7 tanks that you should consider grinding in World of Tanks. 2022 edition. It's been a while, I know. We have videos planned. Lots of things planned for the channel coming up. Very excited. Not quickly, though, so we'll try to get a video out every week, maybe twice a week. Who knows? But things are going to change on the channel, too. I'm thinking about introducing some, like, sketches and such. Some fun videos. Not just World of Tanks, but some good stuff. But today, World of Tanks. That's why you guys are here. And we're counting 7 tanks that you should consider grinding in World of Tanks. Now, there is no particular order in this list. I just put it together. Things have changed with the updates. And the first one on the list is, well, the Conqueror line in general. Once you get to tier 9, you have 3 tanks to choose from. The FV215B, which you see in the background now. The Super Conqueror, which is also just an absolute stud of a tank. And the Chieftain Mark 6. Chieftain Mark 6 has received some mobility buffs, and the FV215B has received some DPM and side armor buffs. And I believe some aim time buffs as well. This tank is an absolute beast now. Just drives around, snapping shots, blocking shots off its side. It is a side scraper now, as it always should have been. And the line itself, you have the Conqueror, an absolute beast at tier 9. Probably, if you were to, remove that little Roman numeral I, Roman numeral 1 in front of the X, and made this thing a tier 10 and changed nothing about it, people would believe you. The Conqueror is a beast. And then you have the Carnarvon, also a beast. And then you have buffs to the Black Prince. It now goes 25. I think it's 25. And then you also have buffs to the Churchills. So it's actually not a bad grind anymore. It's actually a pretty good line to go up. And so that is why this line is making the list. The Chieftain, the FV215B, and the Super Conqueror. There's your first grind, guys. If you don't have that already, what are you waiting for? The IS-7. This one made the list last time. And last time was pre-super buffs that they've given it. Like, absolute super buffs. They buffed this thing's engine up to 1,200 horsepower, which is the same as the E100. And with some nice speed equipment, you can just zoom around and do what I'm about to do here, which is absolutely humiliate the enemy team. And what other heavy tank could do what I'm about to do here? Not many. And not only that, they buffed its gun handling, and I believe its DPM a little bit, a little touch, mobility, all that jazz. Sorry about that, Mr. Tank. We just hit there. And its hit points. And as you can see, we just snapped that shot on the move without vertical stabilizer or anything. And we're moving up to this location here, because over here, there's actually, we're going to lose a little bit of health, but we're hulled down now. There's something protecting our side right here. And we're just going to sit here and keep the enemy looking at us throughout pretty much this entire game. What other tank can do this? And if, you know what, maybe that's not your style, you don't want to play like that, you don't have to. You could play this tank like a regular heavy tank. You can play it like an assault heavy tank. You can play it like a medium. This tank can pretty much do it all. It's absolutely crazy what you can do in this thing. And you can brawl with heavies. You can brawl with mediums. You can take hits from tank destroyers. I mean, we're already up to 2,300 damage blocked, 1,200 assist damage, 2,300 regular damage done, and we're just getting started. And not only that, we've also halted the enemy team from being able to really do anything because they're distracted by us. The IS-7 can do it. It can do it all. It can do whatever you want it to do. IS-7, ready? And snap, hit that shot. Boom. No problem. Pretty solid tank, if you ask me. T110E4 time. Yeah, this made the list. It's kind of ridiculous what they've done to this tank in a good way and a bad way. A bad way being it's annoying to fight against. A good way being it's really fun to play and just brutalize the enemy team as you just roll around and be like, ha 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 ha, which is what this tank does. They buffed its armor to the point where why would you play the E3 when you have a turret and more mobility, and which is this tank right here. So yeah, E4 is just stronger E3 with turret. Very good, very good. Not only that, you also have insane APCR shells, 375mm of penetration, And you have a great fun grind all the way up. You have the T67 at tier 5, the Hellcat at tier 8 or tier 6. Oh man, imagine jumping that quickly. Then you have the T25-2, which is a solid tank. It's not special in any way, but it's a good one, and it plays like the Hellcat, just a little bit slower. Tier 7. Then you have the T28 prototype, which to me feels kind of more like a tier 8 M103 with more DPM. Absolutely brutal tank. It just butchers everything it fights against, other than once you find yourself in a tier 10 match. But hey, that's the case for almost every tier 8. And then you have the T30, famous 155mm gun on that thing. You all know it. You all love it. And then finally you have the T110E4, which rolls around like an E100, but faster, and does everything E100 can do, but better. Can do everything the T110E3 can do, except better, other than the fact that this does have some weak points. But there's a tank on this list that kind of does away with those weak points, and also kind of puts the E3 a little bit to shame, and we'll be getting into that tank as well. In fact, that's the next tank we'll be looking at here, number 4 on the list. But for now, I mean, T110E4, what is there to say? You fought against it. It's about time you play with it. That's what I say. Go grind yourself a T110E4, guys. Here we have at number 4, the Badger. Oh yeah. This tank would not have made the list back in, what, 2019, I think was when our last list came out. But now, things have changed. They've buffed its side armor. They've buffed its DPM. And now, like, I might just let this entire replay play for you guys. It's absolutely insane what you could do in this tank. Angle a little bit too much there. We take a hit. That's fine. But just watch. Just watch what we do in the Badger here so quickly, as we eviscerate the entire enemy team. Not the entire enemy team, but everyone who kind of parks in front of us. We have a 4005 there. He's going to shoot us. He hits us there with a Hess shell, but doesn't penetrate. And we've also got an RU-251 behind us, but it's not too big of a deal. Here comes a Death Star. Put a shell into him, and the Death Star, he splashes us for 300 damage. That's it. He gets tracked, and now he's getting killed. We're going to put another shell into his tracks there, and we're down to 800 health, but now he's dead. 4005 wants a shot. He's not going to get it. And we're going to turn our attention now to this chisel. So while we're doing all that, let's discuss why this is in the list. We've already mentioned the DPM. We've mentioned the side armor. The health, 2100, pretty good. Insane frontal armor, guys. You have a lower plate, yes, but other than that, you have virtually no weak spots from the front. If you hide that lower plate or you're using 10 degrees of gun depression, you're pretty much unstoppable, just like the T110E3, except you have just a better gun, in my opinion. Then you have the grind. It can kind of be a frustrating grind because it's a slow tank line, but I wanted one slow tank line in this list, and I was like, okay, do I want Type 5 Heavy? Do I want the Mouse? What do I want to put in here? And I'm like, oh, I know what. I'm going to throw in the Badger, because the Tortoise is absolutely insane. The Tortoise is so much fun to play, and again, you just have insane DPM. The AT-15, again, insane DPM for its tier. AT-7, insane DPM for its tier. That entire line, insane armor, insane DPM. You're just rolling around as like this fortress, just absolutely eviscerating everyone in front of you. And that's every single tank. Once you've gotten to the AT-2, you know how to play the Badger. Every tank after that plays the same, except it's an upgrade. AT-2, AT-8, AT-7, AT-15, Tortoise, Badger. And you can also grind out the Death Star, FE-215B-183, if you choose to go after that instead. So you have many, many choices, many opportunities, things you can grab. And as you can see, we're up to 4,500 damage, and by the end of this replay, we are actually up to, let's put another one in, we get up to 6,000 damage before they finally take this absolute beast down. Number 5. Are we counting up or are we counting down? I forget. We have the Patton, the M48A5 Patton, and it's another one of those lines, those grinds, that is just good. You kind of learn how to play the tank early on. Even with the M4, you kind of learn how this tank is played. Then the EZ8 or the E2, or whichever one you choose, also plays very similarly to this tank, just with higher rate of fire and lower tier. Then you have the T20. It changes a little bit. You don't have the turret armor you would have with, let's say, the Patton, but you do have the same kind of gun handling, the same kind of snappiness, and the same kind of gun depression. So you kind of feel and you figure that out. Then you get the tier 8, and that's when the tanks really start playing the same. And you have the M26 Pershing. I'm just going to call it the Pershing because I'm going to name it something wrong. And you now have a decent turret. You have a fantastic gun for its tier. It's not bad DPM, that's fine. But you have the same kind of mobility and the same kind of gun handling, and now you know how to play this Patton. And then you have the tier 9, which has been recently buffed to have the same gun as this tier 10. And you're at tier 9. That's absolutely insane. That's so cool to have. And you have DPM and you have turret armor. Not really much turret armor on the tier 9, but it's a small turret and it can get some bounces here and there because of the awkward angle and 10 degrees of gun depression. And then you get to tier 10 and you take everything you liked about the other tanks and you just put them all into one. Minus top speed. You only go 45 in this thing, but that honestly, when you can just move around like you do in this thing, and you have the snappy gun like you do in this thing, you have the turret armor like you do in this thing, it's kind of worth the trade-off, because this tank can do it all. It's a jack-of-all-trades medium tank, and that's what the Americans are good at. But not only is it jack-of-all-trades, it's also just in general better at certain things. You have more DPM than the British medium tanks. You have better on-the-move gun handling than the British medium tanks. In fact, even the German ones. It's just a little slower. That's the only trade-off. You get bounces off your upper hull. You get bounces off your turret. You have a small cupola. It's just pretty cool. And if you don't have this tank, one of the oldest mediums in this game yet, get off your horse. Go get it. Or get on your horse. I don't know. One or the other. They work just fine. And go get yourself a Patton. Go grind this line. Get it. Get it done. Number 6. I think we're counting up at this point, and maybe I'm wrong. Well, who cares? We're counting up. Number 6. I'm showing you the T54. It leads to the T62A and the Object 140. You can't go wrong with either of those tanks. T62A recently received a DPM buff. Oh, and plus its accuracy, plus its turret armor, plus its turret rotation speed actually is huge in that tank because it is one of the greatest close range brawlers in the game. If you get close to someone, you get next to someone, if you side hug them, they can't do anything about you. And then you just rip them apart with your 100mm gun. Then you have the 140, better mobility, better on the move gun handling, and still great DPM. You just roll around snapping people. It plays very much like the T54. I'm showing the T54 because it leads to both, and it kind of plays like both. It has the best of both. You have the turret armor, you have the mobility, you have the snappy gun. It's incredible. It's amazing. Such a great tank. And on top of that, they recently gave it the same gun that T62A and the 140 both have. Yes, you have, 264mm of APCR standard penetration? You used to have 201mm of AP pen. Now you have APCR at 264. Absolutely crazy. And so people, this thing infamously became known as the Heat 54 because a lot of the times you had to shoot your heat shells to get anything done. If you were fighting any kind of tanks that had any kind of armor, you had to shoot your heat. Now you don't need to. And you have the high, insane APCR shell velocity. Look, we can just snap that guy. If that was AP, that might not have hit because it might have lagged behind him. It's a little bit slower, but it was a heavy tank, so I'm sure we still would have hit. But either way, it's absolutely crazy. And just boop. Oh, I love this thing. And then the line is great too. Even starting at tier 5, you have the T34, fantastic little tank. You have the T34-85, another fantastic tank. The T43 is kind of the letdown of the line. It's exactly like T34-85, but you're a tier higher. Then you have the T44. Now you start playing like the T54 and the T62A, and it's a fantastic little tank at tier 8, minus the fact that it's tier 8, so yes, you do have to fight tier 10s and sometimes tier 9s, and that can be a little bit annoying, but that's the case for almost every tier 8. And then you have the T54, and I mean, we're just going to eviscerate this poor man. We shoot him in the upper plate there, but we have armor to show for us, and he bounces off of us, and we do not bounce off of him, and now he's going to get finished off here. We're going to put a shell into his lower plate, and just watch him die. He's dead, gone, out of the game. T54, T62A, Object 140. Grind the Russian mediums if you haven't already, if you're looking for a new medium tank line to grind. These things are low profile, they're fast, they have good camouflage, they have good armor, they have it all. Except for good gun depression. You can't have, I guess, all of it, but you can have, certainly, a lot of it. And the Russian mediums definitely have that. Last but not least, definitely not least, the T100 LT, and perhaps you may think, yeah, it's not the greatest at combat. I think it is fantastic at combat. But just for fun factor, this line is hilarious. LTG at tier 7, fast, hilarious, small. LTTB, my favorite light tank for a long time, fast, agile, mobile. I guess I just said the same things multiple times. Then you have the T-54 lightweight. It's a medium tank that moves around like a light tank. That's what it is. And then you have the T-100 LT, and I have it maxed out on mobility and view range. We have optics and the two pieces that make you more mobile, and plus fuel. And look what we're going to do this game. In fact, I might just let the game play. We're just going to get assist damage after assist damage after assist damage, just driving around. Who needs wheeled tanks when you have this? Fun, hilarity, low profile, gets up to speed, up to 2,500 assist damage, and we're only going to climb higher and higher and higher as we zoom around. There is a light tank in a bush that's going to keep spotting us, but it doesn't matter because we have speed on our side. We're going to find, there's that Death Star. Oh, we spot the WZ. He takes hits. Oh, the Death Star. Oh, we flip around. It's okay, though. We're low profile, so we're hidden behind this ridge now. And there's the RD strike. He misses. Oh, boy. I tell you what, the graphics in the game look absolutely beautiful these days. Up to 4,000 damage spotted. Oh, goodness. And now we're going to spot the light tank by sitting in this bush. He's going to move out of his bush, and we're going to see him. Are we? No, maybe not. I misremember the game. Yep, yes, we are. There he is. Hello, little light tank. There he is. He moves too close, and now we get spotted. And now the Death Star takes some more hits. And, what are we up to? 4,800? And I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. We get up to 9,000 damage spotting and 2,700 damage done, I think. We're up to 6,300 damage. Just higher and higher and higher we go in this. It's fun. And yeah, we don't have the aiming thing on here. We didn't need it. I didn't feel I need to use it because we also have gun rammer on this. So, do we have gun rammer? I don't remember. Either way, T100 LT, guys. Grind this line. Even if you don't get to tier 10, the entire line is hilariously fun. 7,000 assist damage we're up to. Holy cow. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Just have fun. That's why you play a game, right? To have fun. But that's going to be it, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, slap that like button, comment, subscribe. Get ready for more videos coming up soon. Hopefully, we'll get them done as best we can, as many as we can, as often as we can, and have some fun. Maybe some streams in the future. We'll see. I'm not really set up for streaming at the moment, but maybe we will be in the future. Either way, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll be seeing you guys all later. Take care, everyone, and peace out.